You're listening to Cornerstone Kids, a parenting podcast, a series about practical ways you can become the primary disciple maker of your home. Hey, guys, I am Jessica, and this is Pastor John Michael, and we're some of the children's pastors here at Cornerstone, Nashville, in Madison. And today we are talking about being an active parent. So getting involved in your child's outside connections, friendships, relationships, just the whole kit and caboodle. I just sounded like I was 60, but everything that your child is experiencing, dive in as a parent.
It's probably a lot,
That.
going on.
There is a lot.
Well, I think kind of how my brain works, and I think this is a male brain thing, is I like to categorize everything. Like I gotta have like my little areas of focus. And so in thinking about getting involved with your child, of course, I think school, kids are back at school. So how can you get involved and kind of know what's going on at school?
So
Sports is a big one, extracurriculars. And we can dive into that world because I'm sure it's plentiful. I think every C kid, every parent has their kid in something from ballet to karate to soccer and baseball. And I know you can get a little intense with some of the sports. I would say just neighborhood friends or who's your kid's circle? Who are they closest to? Who are they playing online video games with? Who are they eating lunch with? Whatever. And then, of course, and this isn't the last one. This isn't like an order of priority, but church life. That should be number one. Church life. Like, what is like just being involved with your child's spiritual development? What does it look like when they're in kids ministry? What are the events that we have for them as the school year goes on? Camp, VBS, making those things a priority, and how to have best of both worlds, how to make sure that you have family time and you can get out of town. You can kind of put pause on all the craziness and just focus on your family unit, but then also make those spiritual moments where your child can go to the camp or junior camp or VBS or fifth grade road trip, whatever it may be. How do we not miss out on those cool milestones as well?
You can teach at every moment you're with your kid. You're building relationship. You're teaching. And so even when you're in the car, it's important. So a lot of people used to be like, "Oh, sports, don't get involved with sports. You're going to miss this." Wednesday nights are so hard sometimes. You know, when you have an older kid that's in sports. But there's a part of me that sees that time of sports as relationship building for your family. And it's obviously great opportunity for you to teach core values and characteristics that you want them to have, that you see in the Bible. Just really, really great opportunities for you to do that. So, so as you do all of that, understand that every moment that you're spending with your child, whether it's at a school, whatever it is, all of the things we'll be talking about are teaching moments for your kid. Your kid's watching you. And so you're modeling in every single one of these situations and you'll become a better teacher when you know what they're doing, when you know how they're involved and what they're involved with and who their friends are.
They're like, So, I mean, I can break it, kind of just say maybe my 2 cents on where they get involved and maybe what parents can do and make sure that you're just aware of what's going on, because I feel like as kids get older, we become less aware. Maybe they communicate less of what's going on, of who their buddies with. So at school, I mean, of course, knowing their friend groups are huge. Trying to, if needed, have those friends over, get to know their parents is really big. I think just knowing, hey, who are like the key influences in my child's life at school. It's going to be their friends. When the opportunities arise to go to an open house and meet teachers, I mean, I know it's usually on like a weekday night, and it may not be the most convenient, but these people will be with your kids for, 6 to 8 hours a day. And so they speak a lot into your child's life. So just getting to know them and they get to know you. I know, like, was it PTA, something along those lines?
The PTA.
I mean, I don't know. It can't hurt, to just know, like, hey, who are the ones that are kind of making the rules or behind the scenes or the fundraisers, like just how to be involved in that world. So I think school, knowing the friend groups, knowing the parents of those friends, knowing the teachers and getting to know them and they know you, like, I think just that's huge, because that's where your child is going to be for a big portion of their life early on. I mean, 8 hours a day, 5 days a week, they're in their school. So you want to make sure you have a good pulse of what life is like for them while they're at school. Sports team. So again, I played sports all growing up. I tried my hand at a lot of different ones, and I wasn't great. But I remember playing soccer was the one I stuck with, and I just remember my parents, number one, being at all the games, being cheerleaders, hyping me up. My dad, and this might be another thing with active parenting, is yes, you want to be there, but hey, practicing at home or while you're at home, like how can we maybe turn off the screen stuff
doing
and be
it
more
together,
involved.
Not just saying go outside and practice this, but it's intentional.
Throwing a ball, shooting
building
hoops.
Relationship
I mean, I don't know if your kid's in gymnastics, maybe showing them how to do a cartwheel or helping them.
But
I don't know, just taking a huge interest into what your kid is passionate about. And then again, when we're home and in the realm of active parenting, trying to turn off screens and putting down phones and really just spending quality time, being active with them. If your child's outside, that's where you want to be. If they're upstairs playing with their toys, going up there and doing that as well. Because again, some of you may have a 6-month-old like I do who just rolls on their tummy and their back and they're not doing a whole lot. But how do I, like, you know what, I'm going to put my phone down and just be on their level. He's really interested in this little toy. Well, I'm going to play with that little toy.
When you just have the new baby, if you're a parent and you've got brand new baby with no other older children right now, and you're kind of resonating with that, like, I don't have any kids, they're not doing anything, that is the perfect time to look at your family schedule and to start a routine and a time where you're like, this is family night, and right now that means that we sit down and we are googly eyes at this baby and we are just loving them and praying over them and playing with the toy. You're working on being silly with your kid, you're working on building that relationship even from an infant, but you're being intentional about the time that you spend together. And then if you build that when that child's a baby, it's going to become easier. The routine will already be there when they're older. And then when you pull out the Play-Doh and you're having a game night, and then when you're having sports night, that's already built in there. That family time is important. So don't dismiss it just because you have an infant. Like, start doing those things now and start paying attention to your child and giving them your undivided attention with no phone. Right now.
That's huge. And then I know, I think we've kind of hit on this one, but friend groups. I just think, I know my parents did a pretty good job of, and I mean, I was a 90s kid, and so we're always running around going to each other's houses. I feel like that's kind of died in culture a little bit.
They had absolutely no idea where we were. I mean? We kind of joke around about that, but we were like in our neighborhood, and there was the commercial that came on that said, "Do you know where your children are?" We were all outside, like
playing around
in the dark when the street lights came on.
Then you go home. But I think I just remember like all the neighborhood kids running to certain people's houses and all the parents kind of knowing each other. And I think that really helps, form a community. But then again, my parents knew all the parents of the kids that I spent the most time with, and vice versa. And I think that's really important too.
There was no social media.
Right? Yeah.
That really is the largest component in stripping away family time and relationship building, is because you think you're building a relationship by liking somebody's post or commenting on something, but you're not building a relationship. You're just waving or essentially as they pass by. You're not learning something new. You're not seeing what they enjoy and really getting to know these people. And that's why you'll hear us say over and over and over again, and I have to say it to myself over and over again, this is not important. Put down the phone. I can read my emails later. I can reply to a comment on Facebook later. It's family time. Like, we don't want to play with that. It's a mess.
No, I agree. And I think maybe a challenge for some parents, and this may be a school year challenge. So in the realm of getting to know your child's friends and almost more importantly, that their friends' parents, is if your child comes home this school year and makes a new friend, maybe your job as a parent is like, all right, we're going to have invite their family over for dinner and get to know them. I just think that's so important. Even, and granted, it's in the context of class at church, but our daughter Bonnie, who's in the 2s, 3s class, is starting to throw out like, oh, I was with this kid
Friends'
today, or
names,
friends' names.
yeah.
And so now some of them I already know, so
Yeah.
it's kind of cheating.
Yeah.
But there's a couple kids where I don't know their parents well. And I mean, obviously they go to church here. They're a godly mom and dad, but just get to know them and become friends with them as well to help bolster that relationship.
The easiest place to start for that, because we're currently going through that, is a birthday party.
Oh, yeah.
We're doing a birthday party for my son, and he was like, I want to invite these 4 kids from my class. And I was like, I have absolutely no idea who they are. I don't know if I want to do that. And, but I have to get out of that because I need to know who these kids are. I need to know who is building relationships with my child, who's influencing my child, because I'm going to have that, but you're going to have that moment as a parent where you're like, where did you learn that? You know, you're always going to do that. And so it's important to know who your child's hanging out with, who their family is, and if their family is going to bring out questions, you know, that your child might have, you know, and then as a parent knowing how to answer those with your child and how to have a conversation with them. And, you know, we went to, I think it's been a couple of years, but we went to a birthday party. We were invited to one. I didn't know anyone there.
It's a great
except
feeling.
for the child and the parent that we went. And now that parent is that child is very active as a friend with Atticus, and I have a relationship with the mom, and I can call her or text her and invite her to things or talk to her, or, you know, so it's great. It's a great way to really kind of get your foot in the door if you're like, I want to go to the playground and I don't want to talk to the other moms, because that's a real thing. Like, you kind of have to get out of that a little bit, get out of your own head and build a relationship.
And I think I usually come to it from the attitude of like protecting my kid, but also like it can be a huge positive thing. Like I think of a couple of buddies that I had when I was running around our neighborhood growing up, and like they're still people I talk to now. Like my parents are still friends with their parents, and so like lifelong friendships, relationships can form out of like inviting a school family over for dinner or inviting a church family over for dinner. Like, yes, you just want to meet those parents and kind of understand your child's circle of influence, but also you can create lifelong friendships, which is a huge positive, not only for you, but also your kids. And so we've kind of hit on the school, the sports, the friendships. You know, if your child's young or whatever age they are when you're at home, getting rid of the distraction stuff, even though it's difficult. I mean, all of us have kind of been programmed to like have our phone in our hands or something on or music playing, but just really whether your child's doing tummy time or they want to run around in the front yard, like, yes, we may be tired from work or stay-at-home parenting, but hey, we're going to go out there, we're going to be involved, we're going to be actively participating in our child's life. And then the last one, church. And this isn't a bait and switch where I'm going to recruit you for kids ministry. That's not what this is. I just want every parent to really, you know, prioritize and understand the importance of making sure your child's very engaged with what we have going on in See Kids. Yes, that includes Sunday and Wednesday. We would love for you, the parent volunteer. A lot of you do, and so thank you if you're a See Kid parent and you serve one time a month or 4 times a month. Like, thank you, because you make See Kids possible. You allow us to do ministry on the level we can. But I think it's just really good for parents to get a behind the scenes look of like what really takes place in your child's life and get a few tips like, oh wow, I was in the 3-year-old class, my child's going to be 3, these teachers use these techniques to help reinforce the story to my child. Like, that's good. But then also just, again, actively participating. If you have an elementary student and being in large group, even though you're just hanging out, you get to worship with your child. That's pretty cool.
You're, again, modeling, you know, what you want them to do, and that's really important as a parent.
And then making sure they come to the extra stuff. I know we try to do family fun nights. So coming to a family fun night, that is a stay event for parents. But hey, you get to do inflatables, you get to eat pizza, you get to hang out. We do the bigger ones like Easter Carnival, bringing your kids to things like those, which is a safe, fun, positive event. It's a win for you as a parent because your kid will have a blast. When you have an older child, if it's going to a 5th grade road trip, marking that, because that's like the last big event for your child before they go to middle school, like as a parent saying like, hey, I want to go to that. And you get to ride roller coasters and you get to have a really fun moment. And honestly, it's kind of great because the last few years parents are like, let's do this. And then their 5th graders a little like, I don't know if I want to. So the parent gets to, you know, give them a hard time and get them on board. And then the parent's laughing while their child screams. And it's great. But then VBS, I mean, even if you're not serving full-time in See Kids, volunteering for a VBS or a kids camp or junior camp. Like those are really cool moments where you get to unplug and be a part, see your child worship, see them learn, and be a part of that whole process, that whole event. And so again, whatever it may look like, whether it's, hey, I'm going to make sure that I'm going to reinforce what my child learned on Sunday, whether it's serving during a weekend or Wednesday night service, or just coming to a one-off event, like being involved in your church, know what's going on, know what your child's learning. Like that's huge.
Yeah, it's a really big
And again, I'm biased. We're pastors.
I mean, we're going to want parents in there, but again, it really is huge in understanding what your child's learning and being able to ask the right questions.
Yeah. And so actually, that's kind of a really quick little challenge to the parents, and it'll be a few months away, but in January, when we hand out our calendar, if you don't serve on a Sunday, don't serve on a Wednesday, even if you do, I'd like you to pick one event that you're like, hey, we're going to attend that as a family. If it's VBS, I'm going to serve at VBS. If it's Easter Carnival, just come enjoy the Easter Carnival. Whatever it is, but make sure you're there, you're engaged in what your child's doing, but just pick one event.
Yeah, or the serve days
days
are huge. Kids love helping. They want to be your helper. They want to be needed and wanted. And so, even I was sweeping last night, and Cora was like, let me do it. And I was like, there are some things on the floor that I need to get
just
up.
Let me get it done, please.
I was like, let mommy get the big pieces, and then we're going to do this together. And so there was a compromise there. But they want to be involved. And if you serve an event, chances are you're going to be able to come early. You'll get to set up.
Yeah.
They get to do something special, which is behind the scenes, maybe jump on the inflatables before everybody else does. There are just special things that you get to do with your kid when you serve, that they look at you and you're just building that kind of fun relationship, and they're looking at you like, this is cool. I want to be around my parent when we do this. And so and I would encourage you to serve. It's really fun. And if you're a spouse that wants to serve with your significant other, that's great. We have a lot of parents that serve together, and that's really great for your marriage. It's really great for a relationship on that level too, because you know how to read one another, hopefully, in your marriage. And so you can lead together in a classroom or with a group of kids. And it's just really, really great on building relationships with your child, but also building relationship with your marriage. So, so I would encourage you to do that, because it's really great. My husband actually serves upstairs on his team, so we don't serve together, but we do serve in the same ministry.
You serve in the same ministry.
And
that counts.
So it does count, because we have a common, goal in the morning. Sometimes we're matching T-shirts, and so dads don't really like that part, but it's really great. So yes, I'm going to piggyback that. Go ahead and mark your calendars when January rolls around, and commit to being involved in something new that your kid's involved in. That's a really good challenge to lead out with. And there are some parent resources for what we were talking about a little bit, cell phone agreement. We have a cell phone agreement for you and your child. If that is a huge issue in your home, either for you or your children, there's something that we have online in our printable parent resources that you can go to and just check it out. Look at that, talk about it with your child, and it gives boundaries and guidelines to using social media and things like that in the home. And we'll even give you scripture as to why, the do's and don'ts of certain things, and it'll keep you accountable as a parent and as a child. So that's a really good parent resource that you can check out. Thank you so much for listening today. We hope you enjoyed this episode and learned something new about yourself, your kids, and God's plan in your parenting. If you like this episode and want to keep up with new episodes, please hit that share and subscribe button. Also, don't forget to check out our free parenting resources that can help create peace, routines, and relationships in your home. Just visit cornerstonenashville.org/parent resources, and we'll see you next time.